The topic of this session is functions of IMF, which is a subtopic of fifth chapter of international finance called International Financial Institutions. So let us know a little more details about the various functions of IMF. See, the main functions of IMF are given below. The first of such functions is maintaining exchange stability. So one of the basic objective of IMF is to establish reasonable exchange stability and to discourage fluctuations in the exchange rates. Whenever, as you all know, IMF encourages international trade. If there has to be a smooth functioning of international trade, then exchange rates of the various currencies of the country should be stable. If one country's currency increases one day, another day it decreases, then there will be instability with regarding to exchange rates, and due to this instability, some countries may exorbitantly make profits and some countries may have to face huge losses. So international trade will not be very beneficial to all the countries of the globe. Therefore, if there is a exchange stability achieved with regarding to currencies of the country, then smooth functioning of global trade or international trade is possible. So to achieve this exchange rate stability, various arrangements has been made by IMF. Firstly, each member country declares a par value of its currency in terms of gold as a common denominator or in terms of US dollars. So each country, to fix its par value, it has to use a common denominator which can be gold or which can be US dollars. So every country should fix a par value of its currency by keeping a common denominator or as gold or as US dollars. Once par value is set, then members agree to keep up the free convertibility of their currencies at not more than 1% above or below its par value. So when convertibility takes place, there can be a meager fluctuation with regarding to 1% above the par value or 1% below the par value. Like this, the trade has to take place. But in some situations, devaluation becomes necessary. So when devaluation becomes necessary, a member may devalue up to 10% by merely informing the fund. So when there is no other option than devaluing its currency, such a member country has to inform the fund, and to a maximum of 10% it can devalue or reduce the value of its currency. But greater or subsequent changes requires the approval of the governing board of IMF. So more than 10% if you want to devalue, then you have to get the approval of the governing board, which is the board of governors. Then the fund may declare a currency scare, in which case it may be rationed out and the concerned country may even be asked to revalue and maintain imports. Sometimes one currency will be in huge demand. In that situation, that currency would be called as currency will have currency scarce. So in that situation, IMF will set out a policy with the help of which they will ration it out, or they will see that it will be properly divided between different countries who are in need or who depend upon that currency. So there also a policy is set to sort out the problem when there is currency scare with regarding to exchange of countries in global trade. Then members are forbidden to go in for multiple exchange rates. Sometimes some countries, they will have multiple exchange rates, means different exchange rates of their currencies for exports, for imports, for different types of commodities of exports, and different rates for different types of commodities of imports. So such multiple exchange rates is very complicated to manage for that particular country, and to also have follow up from IMF. There may be some hidden agenda and hidden profits that will that would be behind multiple exchange rates. So therefore the IMF always promotes members to forbid multiple exchange rates and to have one simple stabilized exchange rate when they are doing international trade. Then members are also forbidden to buy or sell gold at prices other than the declared par value. Other than the declared par value, they are not supposed to buy or sell gold. The fund acts as the international lender of the last resort and provides financial assistance to member countries to meet temporary deficits in their balance of payments. Okay, so these are the various steps which are followed by the IMF to achieve the first and foremost objective of function of IMF, that is maintaining exchange stability. To maintain exchange stability, they follow all these measures with the by following which they can achieve maintain exchange stability. Next function of IMF is determination of par values. Determination of par values. As we already discussed, every country has to fix its par value by having a common denominator as gold or as with US dollar. So IMF enforces the system of determination of par values of the currency of the member countries. All countries should have par value of their currencies. As per the original articles of agreement of IMF, every member country must declare the par value of its currency in terms of gold or US dollars. Under the revised articles, the members are given autonomy to float or change exchange rates as per demand-supply conditions in the exchange market and also at par with internal price levels. So, originally they had to have a fixed par value with in comparison to gold or US dollars, but then they have revised the articles wherein they give autonomy to change the exchange rates according to the demand and supply conditions, but it should be within the internal price levels fixed by IMF. Okay, it should be within the boundaries set as internal price levels by IMF. Within those boundaries, the member countries can has got autonomy or has got freedom to change their exchange rates depending upon their supply and demand conditions in the exchange market. Okay, so IMF also will act as a surveillance agency. That is, they always will have a watch to see that whether proper working and balance in international monetary system is happening by avoiding manipulation in exchange rates. They will always have a surveillance watch and see whether all the rules and regulations of IMF is followed and there is no any manipulation happening in member countries with regarding to exchange rates. If suppose they find, then they will adopt intervention policy and they will see that such things will not happen in future and they will suggest them or they will advise them corrective steps. Okay, so this is with regarding to determination of par value. The third function of IMF is credit facilities. In order to help the member countries to correct disequilibrium in their balance of payments, the IMF operates various borrowing facilities. The IMF acts as a lender to all those countries who are in need of funds. So they propose or they have got various types of credit facilities which will be lended to the member countries to help them to sail through their economic issues and economic crisis. First one is the basic credit facility. The IMF provides financial assistance to its member nations to overcome their temporary difficulties relating to balance of payments. A member nation can purchase from the fund other currencies of SDRs in exchange for its own currency to finance payment deficits. The loan is repaid when the member repurchases its own currency with other currencies or SDRs. Whenever there is disequilibrium in balance of payments, that is when imports are more and exports are less, they have to have a system to set it right. Means they need funds to match the inflows with outflows. Here, when there is disequilibrium, the inflows are less and the outflows are more. So they need fund. So in that situation, the member country will buy the currencies of other countries in the form of SDRs for their own currency, and they will see that the balance of payments is set aside. Okay, and this loan is repaid when the member repurchases its own currency with other currencies. So when there is balance of payment problem, basic credit facility is available to member countries. Then extended fund facility. IMF started extended fund facility to assist the member countries with severe balance of payment problems for long periods. Under this arrangement, the IMF provides additional borrowing facility up to 140% of the members' quota over and above the basic credit facility. The extended facility is limited for a period up to 3 years and the rate of interest is low from 4% to 6.5%. So whenever they are facing balance of payment problem, they will go for, the member countries will go for basic credit facilities. But if they have got severe balance of payment problem, basic credit facility is also not helping them, then they will go for extended fund facility, wherein more than your quota 140% is given as extended fund facility for such member countries for a period of 3 years and with a reasonable rate of interest which goes between 4 to 6.5%. Next credit given to them is compensatory financing facility. In compensatory financing facility, it is to provide additional financial assistance to the member countries, particularly primary producing countries facing shortfall in export earnings. So primary producing countries, countries which are into agriculture, horticulture, fishing, mining, etc. Such countries, if they are facing shortfall in export earnings, then they can get compensatory financing facility and improve their exports. Next, buffer stock facility. Buffer stock facility is to help the primary producing countries again to finance contributions to buffer stock arrangements for the stabilization of primary product prices. Suppose the primary product prices fluctuates a lot, then they can go for buffer stock facility credit and see that these types of there is stabilization of primary product prices. Supplementary financing facility. Under the supplementary financing facility, the IMF makes temporary arrangements to provide supplementary financial assistance to member countries facing payment problems relating to their present quota sizes. So, whenever quota, on basis of quota sizes, their quota size, credit facilities are given to them. But if they are in need of more, then supplementary financing facility will be given to such member countries. Special oil facility. In 1974, the IMF established a temporary credit facility called Special Facility to extend credit to countries with payment difficulties caused by oil price hikes. The facility was terminated in 1976. Trust fund. The IMF has sold gold in public auctions at prices much above the prices prevailing in the market. Part of the profits so earned has been used to establish a trust fund in 1976 for making conditional loans to the less developed countries with payment problems. Structural Adjustment Facility. The IMF established in 1986 Structural Adjustment Facility. The purpose of Structural Adjustment Facility and later ESAF, which was Enhanced Structural Adjustment Facility, was to help the poor countries to undertake strong macroeconomic and structural programs to improve their balance of payment positions and promote economic growth. So this lending was meant for underdeveloped countries or developing countries to to help them to undertake strong macroeconomic and structural programs to help their economic conditions. So these are the different types of credit facilities given by IMF. The fourth function of IMF is balancing demand and supply of currencies. See, another important function of IMF is to maintain balance between demand and supply of various currencies. The Articles of Agreement empower the IMF to declare a currency which is in great demand as scarce currency and ration its supply among the buyers. So, when the IMF promotes international trade, international trade related issues also has to be solved by IMF. So one such problem that the countries may face is imbalance between demand and supply. Sometimes some currencies will be of in great demand, so IMF has to declare such currency as scarce currency and see that other countries which are depending upon that currency will be distributed among all those countries in a proper logical manner. The fund can increase the supply of the scarce currency by borrowing it from the country concerned or by purchasing it in exchange for gold. So to reduce the scarcity, they can purchase from that particular country, it can purchase the currency, IMF can purchase the currency, or it can also buy that currency in exchange for gold. The country concerned is authorized to revalue its scarce currency to restore equilibrium. When other countries are not getting the currency of this particular country, then imports and exports also will be impacted. So this issue will be in this situation, IMF will take some measures by undertaking rationing of scarce currency. This problem of disequilibrium in demand and supply of currencies will be taken care of. Then maintenance of liquidity. Another important function of IMF is to maintain liquidity of its resources. The member countries borrow from the fund by giving their own currencies in exchange. So they borrow funds by giving their own currencies. In order to avoid accumulation of such less demanded currencies with the fund, the borrowing countries are required to repurchase their own currencies by repaying their loans in convertible currencies. Whenever the member countries are in need of fund, the IMF will buy their currencies and lend them funds. But when they are repaying it, they have to buy back their currency by giving IMF other currencies. So by doing so, they can maintain liquidity of funds. Interest charges. Another function of IMF is they charge interest. The IMF charges interest from the borrowing nations for the credit provided to them. The interest rate for the first batch is nominal, but it increases as the amount of loan increases. The purpose is to discourage the member countries from excess borrowing. So borrowing should not become a habit, or borrowing should not become a burden. So with this intention, the first batch of loan will be very nominal, and then they increase the interest when continuously the countries borrow funds from IMF. Next function of IMF is they give technical assistance. The IMF also provides technical assistance to member countries on financial matters, and such assistance is made available through the services of specialists and experts. In this regard, the fund operates two specialized departments called Central Banking Services Department and Fiscal Affairs Department. These departments provide consultation and guidance to the members. Next, stabilize economies. The IMF has an important function to advise the member countries on various economic and monetary matters, and thereby to help stabilize their economies. Reducing tariffs. The fund also aims at reducing tariffs and other restrictions imposed on international trade by the member countries, so as to cease restrictions of remittance of funds or to avoid discriminating practices. So reducing tariffs also will be one of the functions of IMF. And lastly, it is the general watch. The IMF is also keeping a general watch on the monetary and fiscal policies followed by the member countries to ensure no flouting of the provisions of the charter. It is the duty of all the countries, member countries, to follow the provisions of IMF charter, and whether it is strictly adhered or not will be checked by IMF by having surveillance on all the economic activities of their member countries. So all these are some of the important functions carried on by IMF. Thank you.